Today, we're gonna be digging into an ingredient that I think got really popular and then left behind. I'm gonna show you how to use it and make something completely different and amazing and delicious so that you love it as much as I do. And I'm talking about kale, because we're making kale, bacon, and pistachio pasta. Go ahead and subscribe to Flavor Maker so you don't miss any of our videos. We have our pasta already cooked here to package directions, and you can use any kind of pasta that you want, but I find that short pastas like campanelle and fusilli work really well because the sauce clings to the pasta, so you get all of it in every bite. I also have some cooked bacon here. It's just cooked until it's crisp, and then I've let it drain on a towel before crumbling it up. And so now I'm just gonna move it over with our sauce ingredients because we're gonna use that a little bit later. So we can start building our sauce by adding some kale to our pan where we cooked our bacon. So we have that bacon fat that's really gonna cook this down and keep that flavor all throughout it. And I mean, who doesn't want bacon with their kale, or with anything for that matter? Yeah. So we're gonna cook this for 1 to 2 minutes and just stir it here and there until our kale is tender crisp. All right, so we cooked our kale down until it's tender and has just a bit of bite to it. That's what we mean by tender crisp. So I'm just gonna take this and add it to the same bowl it was in. So to the same pan, we're gonna add our onion. If you find that you need a little bit more oil, that's fine. You can go ahead and add it in. So now we just wanna cook down our onions until it's softened. So we're just gonna add in our chicken stock. This is gonna help us get a really smooth, creamy sauce. And then we're gonna add in some garlic powder. And I'm just gonna add this to a bowl so it makes it a little bit easier to add it to the pot. Perfect pinch Italian seasoning. Crushed red pepper for some spice. If you want it spicier, you can add more crushed red pepper to your blend. So I'm adding this in, I'm gonna bring it to a boil, and then I'm gonna reduce the heat to low and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. So this is simmered down, so I'm gonna turn this off, and it's time for the other 4 cups of kale that you washed, destemmed, and chopped. You didn't do all that work for nothing. So we're gonna move over to the blender to make our sauce. We're gonna add our kale directly to the jar. And remember that bacon we made earlier? We're gonna add half of that as well. Then we're gonna add in our Parmesan cheese and pistachios. We're also gonna add in an avocado. This is our secret to getting a really creamy sauce. You just wanna go in until you fill the pit and then follow it around. That way you're letting the avocado and the knife do the work. Then you just twist it off and look at that. That is a perfect avocado. It's good luck, so that means we're gonna have a great sauce. To get the pit out, you just wanna take your knife, tap it against it and twist. Oh, it broke. Sometimes it breaks, and that's okay. From there, you can use your spoon and just get it out gently. So we're gonna scoop out the whole avocado and add it to our blender. If you get this on your hands, it's okay. Avocado is delicious, so I'm not gonna tell you to lick your hands, but I'm not watching you. Make sure that there's none of the skin on your avocado and get that into the blender. And last but not least, we're gonna transfer our hot stock that's in our pot over to our blender jar. Now be careful because this is hot, and if it's more comfortable for you, bring your blender to your hot pot. I do like to take it off to add it in so that it doesn't splash all around. And just do this slowly so that it all makes it into the blender. So we have that all in there, and now we're gonna add our top to our blender. And because this is a hot mixture, we wanna go ahead and remove this center piece so that steam can escape and your sauce stays in your blender and doesn't go everywhere. But we're also gonna cover up with a towel just to ensure that it stays in. The key to this is going from a low speed to a high speed. So start your blender on low and work your way up until you have a smooth, creamy sauce. So as this blends, I just want to point out that this is kind of like a play on pesto. We have kale instead of basil, but we still get the nuttiness from the pistachios and the Parmesan cheese, and the avocado adds a really, really nice creaminess. And as you see, this is slowly working its way down, so don't rush it, just let it go. And once everything kind of gets incorporated from the top, you can turn the speed up to smooth it out. And the swirling on the top lets you know that it's pulling it to the bottom and getting all those pieces mixed in. All right, so we have this all blended up. It's super smooth. So I'm just gonna bring my pasta a little bit closer to me and pour this in. Just go ahead and pour it slowly. I know you're in a rush to eat it, but pour it in slowly so that it doesn't splash around everywhere. And once you have that all in, add in your kale that we cooked earlier. We're using kale 2 ways. So you get it in the sauce, but you also get the texture of it in your pasta. So you're gonna mix this around and make sure all these noodles are coated before we add on our toppings. All right, so now that we've got our kale all mixed in, it's time for the toppings. We're gonna top it with the rest of our crumbled bacon. And we're gonna top with some Parmesan cheese. I don't know about you, but when I go to a restaurant and the guy comes around with like the cheese turner, I never say stop. I make him walk away. It's like a game of chicken. And then a couple crumbled pistachios, and that's just gonna add in more texture. And now we can plate this up and serve it. So we'll go and make sure you get a little bit of everything. You want that bacon, you want a little bit of the Parmesan cheese, and we want the pistachios and the kale that's in there. This looks amazing. And you can smell all that flavor that we added in. So I'm gonna give it a taste. This is perfect. It's nice and bright. It has the perfect amount of saltiness because of that bacon and that cheese. And then we have all the flavor because we built it up with that stock. And then of course the avocado gave us a really creamy sauce. So you go ahead and make this, but also make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to McCormick on YouTube so you can check out all the other flavor maker videos for more yummy dishes like this one.